it is officially time for the UFC Rich Kid or Rich Guy tier list, boys. This is the official UFC Rich Guy tier list. We're going to be ranking the rich UFC fighters, active UFC fighters. We're not going to be talking about John Jones, GSP, GOATs that have built their careers through the UFC, through sponsorships. We're not going to be talking about them. We're going to be talking about active fighters, active. We're going to talk to some that aren't too active, but guys that are on the roster, guys that are fighting. We got all of them down below here. I'm going to be ranking them from D to S tier. S tier being they are rich, they are preppy, they have gotten their wealth from the UFC, from other things. They were already rich. And then the guys that are down in D tier are, humbly rich, not crazy rich. And we're just going to go like that. The amount of videos I've been seeing on my For You page of Arman Sarukian gave me the inspiration. The literal side quest maxing this guy's been doing has given me the inspiration to make this tier list. So we're going to start with the champs. We're going to go down to some contenders, to some guys on the come up, to some guys that have made a lot of money in the UFC, outside the UFC. Before we go ahead and get started, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's start it off with Alex Pereira, Shama, all right? Alex Pereira, he's built his career from the ground up. He started in the tire shop. He wasn't making much money. He was broke, but he's been on a tear in the UFC. 2024 was his year, without a doubt. He was the fighter of the year. He was the guy that was so active. He saved multiple cards. UFC 303, most notably. He saved that card by fighting Yuri Prochazka, another guy we got on this list. But Alex Pereira was never a rich kid from birth. He wasn't a guy that got money handed to him. He had to work his way up. He had to fight his way to be where he is, to make the money that he's made. He's made millions of dollars now. He's been able to give back to his family, get himself a nice home, nice cars. He's living the lifestyle. So I'm going to put Alex Pereira in the nice B tier because he's a humble guy. Alex Pereira's humble. He's a humble guy who's come up, who's worked his way up the UFC to make this money and has made an absolutely massive career from such a short amount of time in the UFC. He wasn't even in the UFC till 2021 or 2020. I believe it was 2021 or 2022. And since then, the guy's been on a tear. All right, so B tier for Alex Pereira because he's humble. He wasn't rich since birth, and he's just built his way up using his skills, the development he's done. I think that's a solid B tier. B tier is like average. He's made the money. He's made a lot of money, but he's not a rich, spoiled kid. We're going to move on to Ilia Toro, all right? Not the most active fighter at the moment, but he is a rich UFC fighter. He's made a lot of money in the UFC so far. His career has been undefeated. It continues to be undefeated, sparking Charles Oliveira in his last fucking fight, making millions of dollars from that, from sponsorships. He has a huge house in Spain. He's super duper wealthy. His own training gym that's cost I believe it's over $1 million is his own personal gym. So he's very wealthy. Ilia Topuria is very wealthy. I'm going to put him in the A tier because he was never super rich as a kid, but he lives that rich lifestyle. He's got nice cars. He's got a very nice house. He, obviously had a nice Miami wife. We're not going to get into it, but he's going through things right now. He's a little bit inactive, but he is still active on the roster. Obviously, he's the champ, the current lightweight champion. Lightweight is one of the most promotable divisions in the UFC, if not the most promotable division. So he's going to continue to make so much money when he gets on those numbered events, on those pay-per-views, and he's going to just continue to make a lot of money. So A tier for Ilia Topuria. He's been, he's had to make his way up. But he's got a lot of money, and he likes to spend it in some nice places. He's very, very wealthy. We move on to Khamzat Chimaev, not active. All right, he is on the roster, but he's not very fucking active, Khamzat Chimaev, but he's very rich. As much as people want to say, oh, Khamzat, he's come from a nice background. He's done his own thing, but he's fucking wealthy. Khamzat Chimaev is super wealthy. He's going high A tier. He's going high A tier because he wasn't super rich from birth, but he's getting that Saudi money. He's getting those Saudi checks. The second he got that belt, he was in Saudi Arabia, in the UAE. He was giving his belt to princes and this and that, and they're giving him nice watches, nice car. This guy has so much money. He's got boatloads of money. He doesn't need a fight. There's a clear reason that he's like, I smash everybody. I come back 6-7 months. No pun intended, all right? Dude's taking his fucking time, all right? A year from now, he's literally taking his time with these fights. He's going to fight Imavov in 2026, and that's going to be it. He'll have one fight in 2026. I can almost guarantee it. But Khamzat Chimaev's rich. He's very wealthy from the UAE money, the backing that he has, the support that he has. Ali Abdelaziz, he's been pushed, all right? He's been pushed to the top. He's been making a lot of money, and he is at that rich boy level now, and he's going to be top A tier. We're going to move on to Alexander Volkanovski, all right? Alexander Volkanovski one of the best, if no, the best featherweight of all time. I'm not even gonna try to fence it this one. I'm not gonna try to boat around this one. The best featherweight of all time, Alexander Volkanovski is. But he's not the most wealthy, not the most rich man. He has a great lifestyle, though. If you haven't checked out Alexander Volkanovski's channel, go look at his YouTube channel. He's got great videos, super wholesome videos. And I love Volk. I really do. And so he's a very humble guy. He's made a lot of money in his UFC career. But I'm going to put him in the C tier because Volk's not a super duper rich kid. He was never super rich. You know, he started in rugby. He was making his way up. He started MMA kind of late and he did his thing and he just won and won and won. And when you win a lot, you're going to gain fans. You're going to gain support. And he's made a lot of money doing so. And I think he's not a rich kid level. He's not spoiled. He's very humble. He's a guy that is in the C tier, which is a humble guy who's made money in the UFC, hasn't been blessed up from guys in the UAE giving him checks, and he's not getting a bunch of free money. He's had to do this for himself, for his family. He's got his farm in Australia. He's got his beautiful house in Australia, his kids, his wife. He's got animals galore. He's great. He lives a great lifestyle. I'm gonna put him in the C tier because he's not a rich boy. He's not an arrogant guy, and he's very humble. So Alexander Volkanovski in the C tier for richness. We move on to Islam Makhachev, the first S tier. And now you're gonna tell me, okay, Islam's not a rich kid. He's humble. He's nice, but Islam Makhachev is one of, if not the most rich UFC fighter, active UFC fighter on the roster. I can't even pretend to imagine the amount of money that Islam Makhachev has made being the lightweight champion for as many years as he was, defending the belt as many years as he was, getting the amount of checks from the UFC and from promotions and from different sponsorships as he did. He is the richest, probably one of the richest UFC fighters on the roster right now. And Islam has made his money from the UFC, from MMA, and that's humble. But he is a rich boy through and through, all right? I'm not going to pretend like just because Islam's humble, just because, he jokes around and he's all this guy, man, he's not rich and he's not a little bit spoiled, all right? But he's done this himself. He has, and Islam is an S-tier rich boy, okay? He doesn't seem it, but he's got his farm as well. He's got horses. He's got all this stuff. He lives a great lifestyle, but he's done it through MMA. You love to see it, but he is a rich boy. He is very, very rich. I'm sure Islam is in the millions of dollars through the UFC, through promotions, through supports and stuff. So Islam's super duper rich. We're going to move on to Sugar Sean O'Malley. This guy's pretty rich. Suge is pretty rich, man. Sugar Sean O'Malley is pretty freaking rich. I'm going to put him in the D tier, though. I'm going to put him in the D tier. He's got the flashy Ferraris. He's got a nice house in Arizona. He's living it up, but he was never a rich kid at birth. He worked his way up. He got really, I'm not going to say he got lucky, but people that are Sugar fans know that he got a little lucky. Beating Piotr Jan by split decision, getting boosted to the title shot, beating Aljo, getting those wins, and then getting mogged by Merab back-to-back. He's fighting this weekend, but I got to put Sugar Sean O'Malley in the D tier. He hasn't made the most money out of all of them, but he's gotten a lot of money from the Nelk boys, from Steve Will Do It. He's gotten a lot of money from that, but he's not the richest guy. He hasn't been in the UFC forever, and he hasn't had huge main events that have pulled in millions and millions and millions of money and pay-per-view buys and all this. He hasn't had that really, so I'm going to put Sugar Sean O'Malley in the D tier. He's not a rich kid. He's not a guy that's made a lot of money since being born and since being just like peppered with money. He started to build his way up and stuff, but he's not the richest guy. I'm going to put him in the D tier. Sugar Sean O'Malley in the D tier. We move on to Charles Oliveira. I'm going to put Charles Oliveira. That's my GOAT. You guys know Charles Oliveira, my GOAT. I'm going to put him in the B tier. I think he's really even with Alex Pereira, money-wise and stature-wise. The way that they built their careers, both of them becoming champions, losing the belt. Alex got it back. Pereira got it back. Charles, unfortunately, did not. He got slimed out by Ilya, but Charles has made so much money. He's got over $1 million in performance bonuses alone. He's been in the UFC for so many years. He's made so much money, but it's all been from humble beginnings. He's got a beautiful house in Brazil. He's got his wife, his kids. He's got everything that he needs, really nice cars. Like, Charles is loaded and has the perfect lifestyle, the perfect balance, and I think he's a perfect B tier. He's a perfect even of being rich, but not still being humble and still having good beginnings. I think Charles Oliveira is a clear B tier in my opinion. He's not a rich kid. He's not a spoiled kid or a spoiled guy, but he has done it himself. He's built his way up. He's fought his way to the top. He's gotten the belt. He's got over 10 losses in his career, and he's still one of the richest guys in the UFC, making a great career out of himself. And he's got a huge fight against Max Holloway in March. I'm going that fight card live, boys. You already know the BMF title on the line, but You know I love Charles Oliveira. I'm going to put him in the B tier. We move on to our first spoiled brat, Arman Tsarukyan. I do love him, though. I do like Arman Tsarukyan as a fighter. I think he's a great fighter. He's made a huge career for himself in the UFC, not even needing to. All right, he could have sat on the sideline and just ate. He could have just did mukbangs for his entire life. All right, he didn't need to do this, but he did do this. He's been side quest maxing like crazy. Clear S tier. Clear S tier above Islam Makhachev. He's been rich since birth. His dad is a millionaire, if not billionaire. He's got a huge, huge amount of money put behind Arman Tsarukyan. His training has been huge. He's able to spend $50,000 to $100,000 on a training camp. A lot of guys can't do that. Arman's been able to do that since birth, okay? He's an S tier for me. He's been super rich forever, not even needing the UFC paychecks. He blew his $50,000 on a private jet after beating Dan Hooker because he was like, oh, whatever. Let me just get a private jet for the boys and get some McDonald's. That's what he did, all right? Arman's been side quest maxing. He's the whole reason I made this video. But I do like Arman Tsarukyan. I'm not dissing him. You know, he could have just sat, like I said, he could have sat on his ass and just did mukbangs. He could have just burnt up his father's bank account like ease, but he decided to do the hardest sport, in my opinion. As UFC fans, as MMA fans, we know this is a hard sport, especially if you've trained MMA before. So credit to Arman Tsarukyan, but he's going to be the S tier, the top of the S tier at the moment. We're going to move on to Merab Dvalishvili, a guy who hadn't made that much money early on in his career, who was struggling, who lost his first couple fights and then went on an absolute tear and was undeniable for the belt. He should have gotten the title shot after beating Jose Aldo, but he just kept going, got the belt, defended it 3 times in 1 year, and went for the 4th and lost. But nobody has attempted to go for 4 times in 1 year as a champ. Credit to Merab. I love Merab. He turned me into a fan, and I'm going to put him in the C tier, right above Volkanovski, because he's got humble beginnings. He was broke. He was working in construction. He was doing his thing. He was hustling. And he's getting older now, but he's been working at this his entire life, and that's what you gotta love to see. He's not a rich guy from birth. He's not a guy who's been pampered. He's a guy who's worked for everything that he has and has become rich from it. So good for Merab Dvalishvili. He lives in Vegas now. He's literally neighbors with Aljo. He's living the life in Vegas. So I love Merab Dvalishvili. He's going to go in the C tier as the rich tier list goes. We move on to Islam Dulatov, a fresh name in the UFC, a guy who's literally got 1 fight in the UFC. And he's going in the fucking S tier. Okay, S tier. There we go. Islam Dulatov in between Arman and Islam. Both Islams in the S tier. Islam Dulatov is dirty rich. He's dirty rich. He's filthy rich. He's done his modeling. He's done his mogging throughout his days, and now he's mogging in the UFC. But he doesn't even need to fight in the UFC. This guy is so wealthy. He's got Lambos. He's got nice houses. He's living the life in Germany. He's a Chechnyan from birth, but he has been building his way up, and he is dirty rich now, not even needing to do MMA, not even needing to do the UFC. He's a pretty boy, and he's done it very well, because now he's in the UFC, he's mogging people left and right. He's going to be, at least. So Islam Dulatov's going to go in the S tier. This guy is a problem. He's a guy to watch out for. He doesn't even need to fight. He's going to be super inactive, but he is active on the roster, so I'm excited to see what's next for Islam Dulatov. This guy's going to go S tier of the rich guy tier list, man. We move on to Yuri Prochazka. Let's go for that. I am not too rich. Let's go for that. All right. Yuri Prochazka is going to go in the D tier. Okay. Yuri is quite wealthy. I'm going to put him behind Shug. He's quite wealthy, but he hasn't spent it like most of these guys do. He hasn't been doing these crazy training camps. He's up in the mountains. He's at his house in the mountains. He's doing his thing in the Czech Republic. He is a humble guy. He's a guy who just does his thing. And that's what you love to see. He's very wealthy. He's got a performance bonus in all of his wins pretty much, but he's just put that back into his training, put that back into his lifestyle. He's got a wife now. He's got a kid coming. So I'm very happy for Yuri Prochazka. He's a humble guy. He's come from humble beginnings. He's just worked his way up. He's got over 40, like almost 40 professional fights in his MMA career. The guy has worked hard. So Yuri Prochazka is not a rich guy since birth. He's not a spoiled rich kid. He's just done the work, and he hasn't pampered himself with a bunch of cool projects and cool toys like Sean O'Malley has, or like Arman Tsarukyan has. So you love to see it for Yuri. Yuri's going to go in the D tier. We move on to the final guy, the final rich man I got to talk about. Somebody that people kind of underestimate. Kamaru Usman. You're going in the A tier, buddy. All right. Kamaru Usman is very wealthy, and he's wealthy to the point where he was able to sit out for a year, say, fuck that. I'm doing my podcast with Henry Cejudo, and I'm just jugging all day. And that's what Kamaru Usman did. All right. He was just chilling on the sidelines, doing whatever, but he worked hard for this. He did. He's been working MMA and doing UFC his entire life. for the most of his life. He's one of the best welterweights of all time. If he didn't go on that losing stint that he went on, if he didn't get fluked by Leon Edwards, we could be talking about the GOAT of the welterweight division. He could have been better than GSP. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but Kamaru Usman has had a huge career, made lots of money, been pay-per-view and the main event so many times. You can expect this guy's made millions and millions of dollars, but he's fairly humble. He's bought himself some nice toys. He's bought himself nice things, and he's been pampered by promotions, by support, on his podcast with Henry Cejudo. So he's going to go in the A tier, bottom of the A tier. This is my entire rich kid tier list, my entire rich boy tier list. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about my tier list. What would you guys change on this tier list? And if you guys want my bets for UFC 324, comment, yap, and I will get in touch with you. I am putting out my bets, my picks for UFC 324. We're going to be cooking up this year, boys, but that is the entire video. If you guys did enjoy the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will catch you guys in the next video. See you.